I work part-time with a volunteer search and rescue group in Washington. Most calls are minor: twisted ankles, lost tourists, hikers stuck in sudden rain. But 3 summers ago, we were searching for a man named Evan Reyes. He was 35, an experienced hiker, and familiar with the trails. He signed in at the ranger station but never signed out. 2 days later, we started the grid search. The first 2 days were normal, checking switchbacks, riverbeds, tree lines, nothing unusual. On day 3, I was stationed alone near a lesser-used path around 6 p.m. Sun was low, air turning cold. That's when I heard footsteps coming toward me. I turned, expecting one of our team members, but instead, a man in a red hiking jacket walked out of the trees. He looked tired, dirty, but uninjured. He said, "Hey, is this the trail back to the parking lot?" I said yes, and asked if he was okay. He nodded, smiled a little, and told me he'd been walking for hours because he took a wrong turn. Seemed normal to me. Lost hikers usually look worse. I radioed in that I found someone and guided him toward the main trail, pointing downhill. He thanked me and started walking. 5 seconds later, my radio crackled. "Copy. Are you still near Sector C?" "Yeah," I said. "A hiker just came through. Heading down now." The channel went silent for a moment, and then the voice said, "What's he wearing?" "A red jacket," I replied. "Dark pants." Another long pause. Then, "Do not approach him again. That matches the missing hiker." I actually laughed because I thought they misunderstood me. "He's fine," I said. "He's literally on his way down." Then the voice came back, sharper. "He can't be. We found his body an hour ago." I froze. "No," I said. "I just talked to him." "Negative," they replied. "He's deceased. Confirmed." I turned around to yell for him, to get him to stop. The trail was empty, completely empty. There aren't many places to go on that path. You can't sprint out of sight in 5 seconds. Not without making noise. Not without disturbing the brush. I walked all the way down to the junction. No footprints that matched his shoes. No movement. Nobody past the ranger station either. He just disappeared. Later that evening, I saw a photo of him. Same man, same jacket, same face I talked to. Except in the photo, he looked sunburned, exhausted, dehydrated, the way someone looks after being lost for days. When I met him, he looked clean, calm, like he had just started hiking. I don't know who or what I gave directions to, but I think about it every time I'm on that trail. If he wasn't alive, then who the hell walked past me that day? This happened in 2021, and it still messes with my head because I watched someone go missing, literally right in front of me. I work for a logistics company outside Portland. Back then, I worked the 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. shift. It's a lonely area. Industrial warehouses, train tracks, lots of fences, no real traffic after dark. One night around 2:45 a.m., I stepped outside to take a break before clocking out. There's a small employee smoking area behind the building, a bench, 2 trash cans, and a single motion-activated light overhead. As soon as I opened the door, the light clicked on. A guy was standing out there. I froze because nobody from my shift smokes, and I didn't hear the door open earlier. He wasn't smoking either. He was just standing near the fence facing the train tracks. I said, "Hey, you work in Building B?" We sometimes see employees from the building next door. No response. He didn't even flinch. He had a gray hoodie, dark jeans, and what looked like a yellow hard hat tucked under one arm. But the longer I looked, the more I realized something about his posture seemed wrong, too stiff, like he was holding his breath. I didn't want to get closer. You never know with strangers at 3 a.m., but I couldn't just walk away either. I said again louder, "You all right, man?" Nothing. Then, with zero warning, the motion light shut off. Just click. Darkness. I pulled my phone flashlight out instantly, and when it lit up, he was gone. I mean completely gone. That fenced area is small. No gates, no doors except the one behind me. No blind spots big enough for someone to hide in. I stood there spinning in circles with my flashlight on the concrete, thinking maybe he ducked behind the dumpster or jumped the fence. But the fence was topped with barbed wire. I heard a train in the distance and followed the sound with my flashlight toward the tracks. Something shiny caught the light. The yellow hard hat. It was lying upside down in the gravel. But no sign of the guy. No footprints going away. Just the hat. I backed up, went inside, and told the night supervisor. He kind of shrugged it off until I mentioned the hat. Because apparently a guy from Building B, a forklift operator, had gone missing the week before. He didn't show up for work and never came home. Car still in the lot. Phone found on his desk. He was last seen wearing a gray hoodie. When security pulled footage the next day, the camera facing the smoking area glitched for 7 seconds exactly when the light went out. 7 seconds of static. And when it came back on, the guy wasn't there. All the footage before that showed nothing. He never entered through any door. Never walked into frame. He just appeared and then disappeared. The police said he probably walked off, and I imagined the rest. But I still remember the feeling of someone there and then gone. Every time I step outside at night now, I catch myself checking the fence, half expecting a gray hoodie standing there, breathing in the dark. I live in a 3-story apartment building in Joliet, Illinois. It's not dangerous, but it's old. Creaky stairs, thin walls, weird plumbing. You kind of get used to the noises. My neighbor across the hall, Mr. Dalton, was a quiet older guy, late 60s maybe. Always wore the same green jacket, always nodded politely, but never talked much. One Friday evening in 2022, around 6 p.m., I saw him locking his apartment door. He said he was going to his sister's place for the weekend. That was the last time anyone saw him. Monday came, no sign. Tuesday, nothing. By Thursday, the landlord did a welfare check. His keys were on the kitchen counter, wallet on the table, phone plugged in by the bed. No one inside, no signs of a struggle, no signs he packed anything. It looked like he stepped out for mail and never came back. The police searched for months. No leads, no sightings, nothing. His family eventually cleaned out the apartment and the landlord put the place up for rent. Here's where it gets weird. About 2 weeks after the apartment was emptied, I started hearing noises coming from inside. Footsteps, soft ones, like slippers on old wood, a drawer closing. Sometimes the sink would run for a few seconds, always at night, never in the day. At first, I thought maybe the landlord was showing the place late. But one night at around 11:40 p.m., I heard someone knocking around in there, so I looked through the peephole. The door across the hall was pitch dark. No light underneath. No one there. But the sounds continued, clear as day, someone walking around inside. I texted the landlord asking if someone rented it already. He replied instantly, "No one has a key except me." One night this past winter, I finally lost my nerves and knocked on the door. Just once. The noises inside stopped instantly. Dead silence. And then, from the other side of the door, as close as a person can stand without opening it, a slow, soft breath. I stepped back so fast I hit the opposite wall. I called the landlord again. He came the next morning with a police officer. They unlocked the door. Empty. Completely empty. No furniture, no boxes, nothing. But something new was on the floor, a pair of worn-out indoor slippers. Men's size looked about the same as Mr. Dalton's feet. They weren't there during the last inspection. The officer asked if they belonged to me. I told him no. The landlord tossed them out. But I swear I still hear those same slipper footsteps every few nights. Sometimes they stop right at the door like someone is standing there listening. And I can't shake the thought, did my neighbor vanish, or did he just never leave?